Hi, I'm Lori.
And I'm Kevin, and this is No Longer Ashamed.
We are survivors of childhood sexual abuse.
And we're here to share with you that if you're a survivor, you don't have to be alone.
Our logo is a salamander, and the reason is a fire salamander can survive a fire, and you have survived a fire.
We want to help you with your journey to healing and hope.
We are all survivors together, and we walk this journey together, and you are not alone.
By telling our stories, we are hoping that you will have the courage to share your stories as well and find your voice.
Because stories are so important, and for so long I know that I wouldn't tell my story, but when I finally shared my story, that's when I got my freedom.
And this is our journey and your journey to healing and hope. So come with us. Well, a couple years ago, we did an episode about surviving the holidays, and that was back when COVID was going on. So it's been many years. And now that things are back to somewhat normal, I thought this would be an important episode because everyone's expectations have changed now that things are so-called back to normal. And holidays can be very stressful for survivors. It's estimated that 60% of sexual assault survivors know their assaulter, and for survivors of childhood sexual abuse, it's estimated to be 93% know their perpetrator. So it could be really difficult at holidays, especially if you're expected to go home and be around people. And some of those people, there might be the abuser might be one of them, or there might be people that weren't supportive. They blamed you, or they expect you to just forgive and forget and get over it, or all those issues. And even just going back to the place that the abuse happened can be very triggering. So there's all these things that can be triggering for survivors during the holidays. And so I just feel like it's important to discuss that before the holidays happen. So I think the most important thing to do is to consider what makes you feel safe during the holidays. What feels right? Is it okay for you to go home to your family, or is that just too much? And if that's too much, what are the boundaries you can set during the holidays? Do you need to have someone there that is supportive of you? Do you need to maybe stay not at your home, but somewhere else? Do you need to have a plan for if things get too stressful? Do you have a way to get out if it gets too much? Are you driving? Do you have your own car, or is there someone that can take you somewhere else if it's getting too much? Is there someone you can talk to during the holidays if you're getting too stressed out? Part of it that's hard is we have all this sentimental nostalgia around holidays. So you might want to be around family and friends and all the people you grew up with, but it might be just too triggering. So you have to decide what is safe.
Yeah, you might have to have some boundaries in place.
Yeah, and some people view boundaries as basically being selfish, but for survivors, boundaries are necessary. Boundaries are a necessary thing for healing. So you can't be forced to do something just because people are looking for the perfect holiday. They're trying to have the perfect holiday with all their family there and everyone there. It's not up to you to make someone else's holiday perfect. It's up to you to take care of yourself. And if that means you can't go home, then you don't have to make excuses. You don't have to forgive and forget and get over it. You don't have to explain why you're not able to do it. It's up to you to take care of yourself.
Yeah, I like that. We don't have to explain. We just state what we need or ask. There's times when you can say, is Uncle Charlie going to be there? Because if he is, I won't be. Just so you know, it's your choice. And then that's hard. But if the family isn't going to exclude the person that's hurt you and you don't feel safe being there, then that answers your question. And it's unfortunate. But how do you start to make new memories and new ways of being if your family isn't supportive?
Yeah, that's the other part of this is how could you start your own traditions for making your holidays important to you when the traditional holiday isn't comfortable or safe for you? If your family isn't honoring your boundaries or honoring your needs for safety, what can you do to start a new tradition? How can you start your own tradition that feels good? Because I had to kind of go through that. I had to set boundaries and I had to basically start my own traditions for a while. And now things have worked out and it's gotten easier. But there was a time when I just had to have boundaries and do it my own way.
Do you think by doing that, that's why it's different now? Because you were strong enough to be clear about what you needed?
Yeah, and work through things on my own timeline. I had to have those boundaries so I can get to a safe place to get to healing. And after getting through healing, things changed and I was able to reestablish contact with family members. But there was a time when I had to have that boundary, that safety during holidays because it was too much.
Yeah.
So, having good support, knowing how to recognize when you're being triggered and what you can do when you're being triggered, whether you need to just leave or just go find a safe place, kind of rebound from it, do the things that decompress and find your ways of getting through it without being triggered or without being upset, how to calm down and get to a place of comfort. I think establishing these plans beforehand are really important.
And you can talk with a friend about them. Like, do you think have them, kind of troubleshoot with you? But I was thinking how kind of in the beginning, if I had to go to family things, I'd just check out. But then as I became aware, I couldn't just go and check out. I had to stay present. And as hard as that was, it was good because then it was like, oh, I don't want to be here or I do want to be here. Being able to be in control of the situation, even if we don't like the outcome, even if it means we can't go, or if we go and we stay in a different part of the building, whatever, is that once we are realizing and we've had come to some terms with it, then we get to be in charge.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues just around your own safety. I mean, if the perpetrator's a part of the family or going to be present, you don't even know that you're going to be safe. So you have to know ahead of time whether or not that person's going to be there, and if they are, what you can do to keep yourself safe.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the easiest way is just not be there. But
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of times we want to go back home. I mean, that's the hard thing about holidays is the mixed feelings. You want that nostalgia, you want to remember the good times, but there can be really hard parts of that. And that's what you need to prepare for is just what can I do to be safe through this and feel comfortable. And if it's too much, what can I do to just start my own tradition?
Mm-hmm. And there's another element to that because we've talked about this. When you've been abused, you might think you were the only one. Now you're an adult and you see, I'm just going to use the same Uncle Charlie for randomness. You see Uncle Charlie being really friendly with the little kids, and you might realize, I wasn't the only one. Now what do you do? Because now you're in a position of being an adult and a reporter and recognizing, oh, it wasn't just me. I mean, that's a big deal, but that's more true than not.
Yeah, that can be an issue is like if you're a parent, you want to keep your children safe as well.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do to prepare for that? How do you know that they're going to be safe and not being obsessed with it the whole time?
Yeah. And nieces and nephews.
Yeah, so holidays are really hard, but there's ways to get through them that make it easier and make it even something you can look forward to. I
Mm-hmm.
think the main steps are considering what you look forward to at the holidays, what makes you happy, what makes you feel safe, what makes you feel excited about the holidays, and what those are, and also what are the triggers, what are the things that can cause you distress and make you stressed out, and how do you prepare for those? Can you avoid them or can you have someone there? And that's another thing, having safe people, knowing safe people that you can have around you, knowing your way out of situations. If you're driving, knowing you can leave. And again, you don't have to explain, you don't have to make excuses. You just have to say, look, I gotta go. If you aren't able to drive yourself, if you're stranded there, so to speak, is there someone there that you can trust, that you can go, that you can ask, look, I need to go. Can we leave this? And also maybe like the situations when there's going to be gatherings with someone you're not comfortable with, what else can you do instead? Maybe you can just check out at certain times, spend the holidays with your family, but just not spend all of the holidays there. Is there times you can go do something else with the person you trust?
So, like, consider your options.
Yeah, and then maybe plan other things to do with the people you're comfortable with the people you're safe, and start new traditions, start new things that you can do that'll make you feel happy about the holidays, because the holidays are special and it is important to have good traditions that look forward to, but it's not always the same traditions you grew up with, the same traditions you were brought up with, because those might not be safe for you.
Yeah. And holidays are hard for some people. And if you are really struggling, call 988.
Yeah.
Call the line, get help, get support, because these things are real. And I was interviewing a lady the other day, and she said she went back home, and home is where the abuse happened, but the person who abused was no longer there. And so she said she had all of these things, and she had to stop and say, like, she put her hands over her heart and she said, I'm safe, because the body's remembering this house isn't safe, but the unsafe person was no longer there. So sometimes it's a matter of just being so in touch that you can remind yourself this is a new era, even though some things feel familiar.
Yeah, I think when we have expectations and then something happens that we're not ready for, it's important to have a backup. And during holidays, it might be even more important to have extra counseling. If you're going to a counselor, maybe have them prepared to, if you can call them or contact them during that time. If you're having extra stress, knowing a friend that knows and understands your situation, knowing that they're either there or you can contact them, and just be prepared that it can be very triggering.
Yeah. Also, if you're a person who hasn't been abused and you're in a big family situation and you've been listening to this podcast, you know some things, pay attention, look around. If there's a person there that they say, oh, that's just the way he is, pay attention. Make sure the kids are safe and we're all not just making excuses for that badly behaved person. And, once your eyes are opened, it's then your responsibility to make this place safe for children. And it's hard to think things may be going on in our family, but if you're getting a feeling or an intuition about something, it's better to acknowledge it, look at it, than just say, oh, that's just the way he is, because that's how come so many continued family members have been abused and abused and abused, because families like, he's just handsy. They just make excuses.
Yeah,
So pay attention.
Also pay attention to someone if they look like they're uncomfortable. Even the young family members, the kids, if they look uncomfortable around certain people, if they look uncomfortable in situations. I mean, we shouldn't be forcing our kids to be affectionate with family members if they're not happy about it, if they're not comfortable being affectionate. We shouldn't force that upon them.
Right.
And if you see a family member, even one of the adults, that's just not comfortable, maybe take them aside, ask them if there's something going on, if there's something they need to talk about. What can you do for them to make them feel more comfortable? What do they need that would make them feel better about this? Not every survivor knows how to set their boundaries well. Not every survivor has the counseling, has the help they deserve, and they might be just forcing themselves to go through something, and maybe you can be the one that can be there for them.
And this isn't a witch hunt. This is just that, how many times have we said people need to be aware, they need to report. They need to say what they see. And holidays is a time where you're likely to see some things in plain sight because we excuse the people. We had a neighbor, I think I've said this, down the street, someone's grandpa, and they were, all the parents, this is what they told us. Oh, stay clear of him. He's pretty handsy. Stay clear of him. Nobody ever gave us some permission to just call him out. And they never called him out. It's like, let's make everything work. And here's all these neighbor kids. If he's walking down the street, we're all scattering. Well, I mean, yes, tell us to look out, but do something about it. Don't just make excuses.
Yeah, I think the expectations are that everyone gets along great at holidays and everyone has a good time, but that's not always true. And it's not always true that everyone wants to be around family. Everyone wants to be around all these people. Sometimes people need their own space
Yeah.
and
Giving
need.
yourself permission
Mhm.
to do what works for you, to take care of yourself.
Yeah, as a survivor, it's up to you to have healing and find ways of taking care of yourself. And it's not up to you to make everyone else happy, to give them the holiday they want.
Hmm.
Your healing is more important than their happiness at the holidays.
Hmm.
And I think we often just feel like, oh, we always get together at so and so's and always do this and we always open presents together, all these things that we always do. And you force yourself to struggle through it, even though you're triggered, you're checking out, you're disassociating, or you're panicking the whole time. It's more important for you to find the ways to have a safe holiday and maybe find your own traditions.
Yeah.
I think during COVID it was easy because
Yeah.
we all just had our own tradition. We had to
Mhm.
start over with our own thing, and we didn't have to go get together with everyone, and because we had an excuse. And now that things are back to normal, so to speak, I think it's important to recognize, well, that's not always what we want.
Yeah, or what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is really good to just chat about it. And so many times I've been in Zoom groups where I'm not necessarily the leader. We're talking about things, and that word permission comes up so often. I just needed permission. I just needed permission to not do it or to do what I want. And so this is like a permission slip for you to get you to do what it is that you need to do for yourself that makes you happy. That you don't have to do the shoulds, what everyone says you should do. You get to do what makes you feel safe and in control of your life.
Yeah. So recognize, okay, I want to go home, but this triggers me. Well, how can I avoid this if I go home? Is there ways you can do it, or is it just unavoidable? And if it's unavoidable, is it better for you to just stay where you are and not go back home and be triggered and be, I mean, some ways we're re-abused because we're forced to be nice to someone, be affectionate with someone that we don't feel comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
So before the holidays, think about what you look forward to, what makes you feel happy, what makes you feel safe, what are the things about the holidays that you really look forward to, and then look at the things that might be triggering, that might set you off, and how can you avoid those? And also, who are your support? Who is it that you can count on during this time to help you through if you need it? Or you can turn to for escape, or you can turn to start new traditions and recognize that maybe you will need more help as far as counseling or someone you can call or a crisis line. Have that
Mm-hmm.
crisis line close at hand in
Mm-hmm.
case you need to contact someone. And I think, yeah, there's a lot of decisions. Do I really need to go back, or can I start my own holiday tradition on my own with the people I trust?
And we'd love to hear what you decided, what you do. You can go to our Facebook page, No Longer Ashamed, and let us know, what this looks like for you.
Yeah, and if it's a new tradition, what are those new traditions and how did that work for you? I think it's hard to feel like we don't want to turn our back on what we've always done, but if it's always going to trigger you, it's always going to be difficult if you're always going to be forced to be around someone you're not comfortable with. I think it's important to find a new way to celebrate.
Yeah, and you could even call it a break. You can say just this year. You don't have to say this is the way it is forever. You can say this year we're doing this. And this year we're going to Disneyland. This year we're going on a cruise. Whatever it is that you decide to do. And so the family doesn't have to be like, you're never coming back. But it's like, okay, this is a break. And then you can see how you feel. And then next year you plan accordingly as well.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good way of doing it because you're not making excuses and
Mm-mm.
you don't have to explain. You're just saying straight up, this year I'm going to do it this way. And then You don't have to make excuses. You just, this is what I'm doing this year. And if it works for you and if you enjoy it, you can do it again next year.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you are not responsible for someone else's happy holidays, especially if it means you suffer through it.
Yeah. And if by you not coming makes them unhappy, that's on them. That's something they have to figure out and deal with. You're not responsible for their happiness either. You're responsible for your safety and your care.
Yeah, especially if they know your situation and know why it's uncomfortable for you, and yet they don't make adjustments or they don't make arrangements so you don't have to go through the suffering, then it's definitely on them. If they just do it because that's what we always do, regardless of how it affects you, then you don't have to put up with that.
We used to say our mom was the travel agent for guilt trips. And that's what comes up is the family's going to make you feel guilty. So you got to find your place of peace and just kind of let that roll off your back as hard as it is. They're liable to do that and just know that. And like you said, have your support and still continue to stay strong and do what it is you want to do.
Yeah. I mean, even if the perpetrator isn't there or isn't part of the picture, even if it's just going back to that location that makes you uncomfortable, that's enough. That's enough to be cause to avoid it. You don't have to put yourself through that just to make someone else happy.
Yeah. Isn't that a great feeling? It's not our job to make anyone happy.
Well, it's our job to take care of ourselves and get healing. And it's important for us to do that because by healing, our relations with our family and our friends and so forth becomes healthier. And that's important. That's the important part, is to heal ourselves so we can be healthy and have healthy relationships. And that's more important than just pushing through something that you're not comfortable with.
Yeah, for the sake of family.
Tradition. Yeah, family. I had to go through that, and I think the first few times it wasn't easy. And, there was sadness. I felt sadness about not being able to do what we always did. I think you might want to be prepared that, there's a sense of loss there. There's a sense of sadness, but I also found new things that I like to do. And I also found those made me happy and made me feel good about myself. And so that sadness didn't linger very long because I found other ways to replace my old traditions.
Oh, I love that. So it's a process like everything else.
Yeah. And I think the main thing is don't feel guilty about setting boundaries.
Or how about this? You're going to feel guilty. Do it anyway.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to not feel mad or guilty, but you can still do it even while feeling that.
Yeah. And it's important to be safe, to feel like you're taking care of yourself because you're the only one that can take care of yourself.
And then it shows that inner child that you're in charge, that you're going to protect them. And that is part of healing.
Yeah. So how do we have a healthy holiday?
You can figure it out. You've got this.
Yeah, it's important to take care of yourself at this time and just pay attention to what matters to you and what would be safe for you. But yeah, I think don't force yourself to go through something that's going to make you upset.
Or set you back.
Yeah, or make you feel unsafe. So
because that's the problem too when we get in those situations. Sometimes it sets us back for a while. And it's nice if we don't have to do that. We can just count it as victory.
Yeah, and maybe you can find some new traditions that you can look forward to every year. That'll be exciting.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time for us to say a prayer.
So that's it for today.
We are going to have a prayer time if you want to stick with us. If not, we believe in you.
We want to hear from you. We want to hear your stories.
If you like this podcast, please rate and review because that's how other people can find us. And we really want to spread this message.
Father, I thank you for all your blessings. And this time of year, at the holidays, I especially thank you for the blessings of traditions that bring us together, that bring us peace and hope in your grace and your love for us. Lord, I just pray for anyone listening that they would have peace at this time. They would find the traditions that they enjoy, that bring them hope, and that bring them together with the people that matter to them, and that they would be able to set those boundaries so that they are safe during this time. And Lord, for anyone who sees someone who's not doing well at the holidays, if they recognize that something's off, that they're off, I just pray that they would feel compassion on them and understanding, and maybe that they would want to help them and find out how they can help them. Lord, I just pray for your Spirit to guide them to how they can help someone who's struggling this time of year through the holidays, because it can be so hard. And some people just don't know how to set boundaries, don't know how to take care of themselves yet. And I just pray that you would guide us to help those that need it this time of year, and that we can make this a joyous time for them and a safe time for them. In your name I pray.
Father, I thank you that you are a good, good God, and that we have options. And for those of us who may have, had religious abuse, that holidays might be really difficult. And I pray that you will help us to find our way, find our path, and that this can be a joyous time rather than a disturbing or frightful or just, get me out of here time. But that, as Kevin mentioned, we might find beautiful ways to celebrate the holidays in a way that honors ourselves and keeps us safe and shows our family that we're done with that we're going to take care of ourselves from here on out. And it's really breaking the chains. It's breaking the cycle of abuse. And Lord, it's hard, but thank you that you can give us the courage, the strength, the wisdom, the support, all the things we need to break that cycle for our children, for the next generations. And that it's worth the effort of getting well. It's worth the effort of telling our story if we can make life different for the people that come after us. In your Son's holy name, amen.
Amen.